A couple of months ago I did a video on a population explosion of my R. Metallica colony. In that video I had a queen with a few cocoons and I introduced a bunch of cocoons that I found out in the wild and introduced them. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch that one. But this video is an update on what has been going on since then. You will be so surprised to see how this colony has gone. So my colony I've kept in this small container in a test tube setup. You can see it here. As you can see, there's some workers running around in this container, so some of the cocoons have hatched since last time. But let's take the lid off and have a look inside and see how it's been going. Also, stay tuned to the end of this video because you'll see how I've gone and introduced this colony into a new setup using one of my new formicariums. Stay tuned. So as we can see, there's plenty of activity going on in here. See the cocoons there that they've all hatched from, the workers, and they've taken them outside the test tube setup, dropped them outside and cleaning up. These ants are an extremely active species of ants, but they're not very good at climbing up slippery surfaces at all. So even on this particular nest, I haven't had to put any ant barrier or fluon around the edges to keep them in, which means they're really nice and easy to keep in their nest. They just would not let go of that cardboard. These guys have quite a nasty little sting as well, so just be careful when you're handling them. I haven't been stung by them yet, but I'm sure the day will come. Okay, so just having a closer look here, the queen and the workers have taken over both of the test tubes here. It does look a little bit grubby here, so they really are in need of a change out and a better outworld for them and a nest as well that they can enjoy. So that's what I'll be doing in this video. As you can see, so many workers here bustling around. Let's have a closer look now. You can see a mealworm there off on the right. Just cut a mealworm in two and I've fed that to them. They love their mealworms. Really important to keep up protein for these. The larvae, they really need it to progress and to grow as well. So it looks like what they've decided to do is have most of the larvae and eggs in one of the test tubes. So in the top one here, that's where they've collected them all together. They've got some substrate from the Outworld and brought that in as well to help in the aiding of the spinning of the cocoons. So on the top here we can see we have the queen up in there with a few of the workers there attending to the eggs and the larvae. In the bottom test tube here, this is where they seem to be collecting all of the cocoons together to keep an eye on them as well, so they'll be hatching soon. So let's have a nice close look at these ants. As you can see, the colours are so beautiful, vibrant green, and that's where they get their common name from, which is the green-headed ant. Metallic green colours. A little bit hard to focus, just because the test tube is a little bit dirty as well. You can see they're very attentive, always checking on the cocoons and the larvae. The abdomen on these ants is very interesting, sort of segmented. Constantly grooming and cleaning each other. Ants make such great pets because there's so much going on all the time. Things that you don't get to see out in the wild. See if we can focus in here a little bit better. There we go. So you can see what goes on here. There we go. A worker is feeding the other in a process called trophallaxis. I hope you're enjoying just seeing inside the nest. See what's actually going on and what happens in here. Things you normally don't see. So what I'm going to do, you'll see shortly, I'm going to transfer these guys, give them a new Outworld, but also give them a new nest, new formicarium. Now right back in one of my first videos, I actually had a formicarium here, which you can see on the right. It's from Empire of Ants and it's a plaster nest. Again, I bought this one from Ant Keeping Depot online. So I've always wanted to introduce a species into this, so I've decided to make my R. Metallicas go into this one. So I've attached up an Outworld that I've just custom built myself. I'll have a little top-down view here now. So I've put the 2 test tubes from my old Outworld just in there, exposed it to the light, and I'll leave it like this. And then what I'll do is I'll make the formicarium, the plaster nest, nice and dark, and then they will transfer everything over into that nest. Hopefully anyway, we'll soon see what happens. So this is the plaster nest that I've got. There's a hydration port right at the top, so I've wet the nest and hydrated it. You can also add a test tube off one side for extra water. And then I've connected up that tube into the Outworld as well, so they can get over there. And before long, they were exploring, having a look around. Made me very excited to see that. I wonder how long before they transfer all those cocoons and eggs into their new plaster nest. So here's the hydration port at the top. It's just a little rubber grommet that you can pull out and you can just hydrate that nest down and through. Important to keep that humidity and the moisture up in a nest. You don't want to add too much water because you can drown the ants and they won't feel comfortable in there, but too little and then the eggs and the larvae dry out too much and the ants won't like that and they won't live in that nest. So here we can see after a little bit of time they have transferred everything out of those. So all I've done is I've put in a new test tube with some water so they've got some drinking, and let's have a look inside now and see how they're going. Ta-da, there they are. So they've moved in completely. Plenty of room in here for them now. They definitely were outgrowing those 2 test tubes that I had in their original setup. So after that population explosion, I introduced about 20 or 30 cocoons for that queen when she didn't even have a single worker, so she was overwhelmed with that. But before long, they were hatching and then the nest just exploded in population. The eggs were coming out and there was plenty of workers to tend for them as well. So I'll try and get this video a little bit better for you. It's a bit hard to focus with what I've got here. My camera setup. Hopefully I'll be able to get a better camera. I'm working on that now so I can get some up close, better quality videos for you guys to watch as well. So the bottom chamber here, they've put all of the cocoons in. The queen's at the back here as well. It's a bit hard to see. And I've decided to just cut up a mealworm and throw that in there as well. They love their mealworms. Well, there you go guys. I hope you enjoyed the video where I've been able to show you this update on my R. Metallica colony and how it's been going. Hope you've enjoyed seeing inside the new nest that I've built for them and the new Outworld as well. So stay tuned, I'll have more videos coming up. It's been a little bit of a break, had a bit of time off over the holiday period, but now I'll be getting back into getting some videos up there for you as well. Thanks very much for watching guys. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that, and thumbs up and some comments. Anything like that I'd really appreciate. Thanks for the support guys, and happy ant keeping.